Hello there everybody, it's Josh here, and today I'm going to talk to you about a little feature here in Planet Coaster, something that I've put together. This little feature is usually on almost every single roller coaster or ride that's at least 200 feet or taller, and that is the little red blinking light up at the top of the lift hill called an FAA light, which stands for Federal Aviation Administration. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I am building Fury. I'll have an update video on this soon. But anyway, this little light up here just blinks on and off. And it was harder than you'd think to actually get it to blink on and off continuously without any gaps between the sequence. And basically all this light is an iron chimney bend, and two colorable area lights. One where the light faces up. Let me just move this one up a little bit. So you got that light, and then that light that faces beneath. And they're both just red, a normal red color, which is a color CC0000. And you can make it any color that you want, but I figured that's about the closest I could get. And for each one has a time delay, trigger duration, a click trigger duration. Each one has 1.5 seconds. So they're both 1.5 seconds. But how do I get it to do that? Well, if I go down here and then I adjust my terrain. So let's do this right here. There it is. So this ride right here is just a Magic Cats ride with one car, and it's constantly testing. And I've been keeping check on it to make sure that the status of the maintenance isn't going down, and so far it isn't. So as far as I know, as long as you keep it only in testing mode, it'll constantly run without any issue. As long as the game developers don't change that, and I hope they don't, because that would certainly suck. Oh, hello. I didn't know there was a huge cavern down here. Alright, but anyway, on this ride I have, if we go to triggers right here, 11 trigger points with a total of 22 scenery items. If I go to edit triggers, this is where I have my trigger placements. Let's click on number 1 for example. Number 1, and I've got my two lights up there. So you have to place your lights first, and then come into here, and then add your object trigger. And you make sure to add both of them to each one of these triggers. And then for each one of these right here, for number 1, it's 0 seconds. So if I close number 1 and open number 2, the next one is 2 seconds. And then number 3, each one is 4 seconds. So number 2 is 2 seconds, then 3 is 4 seconds, then 6, 8, 12, all the way down to 20 seconds. So there's a difference of 2 seconds between each time delay on the triggers. So I'll let you guys look at that for a minute. I've got 2 seconds there, 4 seconds, and then 6 seconds, and so on, up until number 11. Now I've got the, oh no, there we go, test it, don't want to do that. Okay, now it's going to constantly test again. There we go. See, it's still blinking right now, but there'll be a small gap in a minute. See that there was a bit of a longer gap there. That's because it had stopped testing. But trigger number 11, if I go to it, so look at trigger number 11. It's got 20 seconds. So when this little car hits this one, 20 seconds later, that will flash. And after that 20 seconds is up, that flashes about a second and a half later. It'll hit this one, and then that one will flash again. So let's go down here. So 20 seconds starting now. So then 20 seconds from there, the last flash up there will happen. And then I timed it just about right to where when the car comes back around and hits number 1 again, there isn't a gap between that one and that one in terms of the flashing. So they're getting ready to go again. And then that was the 20th one, and then there's number 1 again. So, and the only reason, and the way that I was able to do that was I had to play with this last curve here you'll notice it's not a perfect curve because I had to adjust the length of it just a little bit, ever so slightly, to get that extra bit of time for the last flash to have the same time delay as these. So that way it's constantly flashing at the same rate and there isn't a noticeable gap. So that's how that works. And this will be uploaded to my Steam as a blueprint. And if you get this blueprint, it'll already have the triggers. All you gotta do is go into each one of these triggers and add the trigger object. In this case, 1 or 2 or however many lights you want up there. Just keep in mind, the more you have, the longer it's going to take. But if you're very patient, then go for it. And then once you add your trigger, number 1, like I said, has 0-second time delay. Leave it like that. And then number 2, you have to add 2 seconds, and then 4 seconds, then 6 seconds, and so on for 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 11. Shouldn't be too complicated for you. And then just have this ride constantly testing, and when you're done with it, do like what I done, and hide it underground. That way nobody ever knows it's there, unless someone goes into your ride management tab and finds it. And make sure to add your entrance and exit, which they should already be on there, I'm not sure. Just so you're not always getting these notifications. So now I'm going to hide this back. Let me flatten the surface. Make sure that's right. Yep. Alright, and then there we have it. So that's how you do a FAA trigger light. And so we'll see as the train comes back up here again. It's rather bright on the train and looks realistic. So, and even from a distance, you can still see it flashing pretty good. It's not as bright as one in the real world, but hey, what can you do? It's also not as dark in game as it would be in real world, just because of how the lighting in this game is. But it's still cool nonetheless. So I still have a lot of work to do to Fury, obviously. I've hardly even started. I've been working on Fury for. I've spent roughly 100 hours in this park trying to build this thing, and this is all I've got. So I'll have a separate video update on Fury, but anyway, that's how you do this little light. And yeah, I should have that. I'm going to release the blueprint as soon as I finish this video, so that way you can follow me on Steam or subscribe to me, or however that works on Planet Coaster, and you can get the blueprint. That's all you need to do. Just get the blueprint, put it under the ground or wherever you want it, and then just add your trigger, and then add your lights, and then do the time delays. That's all it is. And remember, trigger number 1 has a 0-second delay, trigger 2, 2 seconds, trigger 3, 4 seconds, and then trigger 4, 6 seconds, so on and so on. And if any of you have ever ridden Fury at night, looking in the backs of those cars looks about right for how the light is. But anyway, that's this, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.